is come of age to be in the IFSC World Cups and really just popped up out of nowhere and is just consistently performing.
Well, that is our top 8. As you can see, 7 Japanese athletes, 1 Swedish athlete, and a couple of big names missing. Adam Ondra, for example, Alex Magos, and a few others are away for the World Champs, and for the women as well. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Briancon. We're here for the IFSC Elite World Cup. My name is Matt Groom. I'm joined by Campbell Harrison, and we're about to watch Yoshiyuki Ogata climb on this men's route. And Campbell, fairly straightforward start through the first section.
Yeah, definitely. I thought both of these routes look more or less kind of classic lead style. They're a fitness test. Maybe a little bit of a pounce toward the start of the men's route, and then some pretty pumpy, intense climbing. I didn't see too many rests, but that you never really know from the ground. But a lot of moves. Like, both the routes are just super long by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's going to be a grind for the athletes. I love pounce, by the way. I'm going to steal that. That's a great way to describe it. Well,
yeah.
This is the pounce,
This is the pounce.
All right, so this is a jump up, 2 hands. Oh, he goes left first. And pretty straightforward,
Yeah,
really.
pretty big feet, big handholds. Like, I would be surprised if we see anyone lose it on that move, but you know, it definitely like kind of sets the tone for an athlete's climb, whether or not they're able to commit to those sorts of moves straight off the bat.
Yeah, well, he's through that slightly scary start to the route, into the orange pinches, and the one on the far right is the best one.
Yeah, these are not quite as good as I expected. I think that climbing on them in qualifications was the first time I really got to handle them. And yeah, they have a good texture, but it's not like, you do still have to squeeze on them, so they can be quite taxing, even though they look, up close, they look quite good.
Yeah, and it's just going to start burning out. You can see there, they're all sloping downhill. And these EP holds he's about to go onto, although they look good, the friction on them is not so good.
No, and then, yeah, these big, like, hugging volumes that he's going to have to approach are going to take some real energy as well.
There is a jib somewhere where his left hand is. The route setters put it on fairly last minute.
Interesting. Oh, here we go. I thought this undercling he's in is one of the better holds in this section. So, yeah, I thought he would definitely have to clip from there. And then, yeah, this is where the pump is really going to start kicking in.
Yeah, he's got to get all up and involved in that volume. He's got to wrap himself around it. There's a vague rest coming up. If you can get that side pull, you can sort of squat on this next hole, but it's awkward. All right, so he changes it into a toe and now starts to look right. And this is really the first big crux for the men's route here. Yeah, I've heard there's like a little cross-through coming up that's quite, potentially quite bouldery. We'll see. The foot's quite good, though. He didn't seem to have too much trouble with it just yet. Yeah, absolutely cruising, but he's about to enter the big 30-degree overhanging head wall, which seems to go on for an eternity up there.
Yeah, it's really, really long. Usually as you come into the lip of a lead World Cup wall, you're starting to approach the end, but there's quite a lot of climbing still to go. And all these blue holds look really horrible from the ground, so hopefully we'll start to see maybe a little fatigue coming through.
Yeah, it's been cruisy so far for Yoshiyuki Ogata. He's known more for his bouldering than his lead, but he's just as good at lead. But endurance can sometimes get him, so it'll be interesting to see how he copes with his slopers at the top.
Yeah, quite an accurate little move there, but he's still looking pretty good, honestly.
There he is, into the Gaston. Looking at him now, barely breathing up there on the wall. Gets the low clip in by his hip.
Chalking up, still looking kind of fresh. Oh, maybe starting to show a little bit of fatigue, but...
Yeah, this is where the setters told me they were expecting to see some separation. You can see Yoshiyuki not trying to clip that draw yet. And I'm not sure he can. Goes up with the left. He is ignoring that quick draw, slaps and goes. But a score of 48, first athlete out. What a benchmark set from him. Step back for 9th. So he'll be looking to return to a higher position here. So we know, fairly straightforward down the bottom, but mistakes can still happen.
Yeah, I think this route's going to be all about efficiency and precision. I think, you know, last week we saw Sam Avizu and Chamonix come out with what was probably one of the most efficient finals climbs I've ever seen in my life. And I think that's going to be like the name of the game for this route as well, just with the sheer length. I think none of the individual moves are really the challenge. It's going to be about minimizing every sort of subsequent mistake and just maintaining efficiency as much as possible.
Yeah, it's a bit like in a race. If you sort of, oh, hang on, we'll just watch this move. He made that look pretty hard, actually.
Yeah, that was a slightly different beta than what we saw from Yoshiyuki. I didn't really think too much of that move at that sequence, but...
Yeah, he had to really press with that left hand. But he's in and he's safe. He's got another jump to come out towards the slope. As you can see, the handprint of Yoshiyuki.
Yeah, no real troubles with that jump. I think it's, as far as dynos in a World Cup go, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, absolutely cruising here at the moment. Through the bottom, nice and simple.
Socks in his climbing shoes as well, somewhat unique.
Yeah, it gets talked about a lot. I love talking about it on the stream because I think I'm too old school. I'm used to the bare feet.
Yeah, sometimes when it's really cold, honestly, like a good thin pair of socks in the climbing shoes, or just like when you're doing like a lot of really high volume sessions, it is quite nice, actually. I've become a little bit impartial to the sneaky sock in the shoe.
All right, I won't judge. I won't judge. And we've just been told, by the way, that Ogata was not awarded the plus for that last hold. So that's why he's got the score, which I think is 48. Yeah, wasn't awarded the plus.
Been quite strict with pluses at this comp, I found, as well. Which is good, you know, especially when it leads to, you know, good separation between the athletes as well. But yeah, you have to be really convincing with your movement and you have to be in the right sequence as well.
Yeah, and we should explain a plus. So a plus is when you fall going to the next hold, but you're changing your center of mass and you're moving your hands towards the direction of the next hold.
Yeah.
It is up to the judges. It can be difficult to tell. Something that's often appealed after competitions or during competitions. Right, Shion Omata is onto the black slopey volumes right now. Beautiful light on the mountains behind.
Yeah, as the sun sort of starts to set behind the mountain, you get this really like cool cascading effect over the wall. It's a really beautiful place here in Briancon as well.
It is indeed, and Shion has got the left-hand jib, which you really can't see in the shot. I couldn't see it with the naked eye from the ground, but I was told it was there. High splits position with the right leg.
It's quite tricky with viewing in this venue as well. You can't get too far back from the wall, so it's quite hard to spot any of the little jibs that might be sitting above the volume. So for most of the athletes, if not all the athletes, it's going to be quite blind coming into these last sections as well.
Yeah, we do see some climbers with binoculars, and it is difficult, as Harrison says.
Yeah, that's okay. I think in the
oh, I called you your second name. That was weird.
I mean, I kind of have two last names, so it's all good. It happens all the time. But yeah, in the women, I was hearing that during that sort of 34 plus crux, it was really hard to know where the jibs are, where the blockers were, and so that really contributed to whether or not if athletes sort of took a look at the hold before they moved versus they just went for it confidently, really had an effect on whether or not they were able to stick the moves.
Oh, we're watching now. Shion really struggled with that cross through.
Yeah, it looked really powerful. I mean, Yoshiyuki Ogata really is one of the physically the strongest people on the circuit, so it makes sense he would make that move look so easy. But he's looking cruisy again now. He's managed to sort of fight his way through and he's back in cruise control again.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got lots of time. Minute 47 on the clock on the bottom right of your screen. And that's what he's got left. 3 quick draws and then a jump to the top. Shared finish for both the men and women. And he's got the thumb in and some slippery holds up there with that no-tech surface.
Yeah, yeah, these all look really shallow and really nasty. I think we got a... maybe Yoshiyuki made them look a little bit better than what we're going to see.
Yeah, we'll see. Shion Omata is breathing heavy, but it looks like he's found something after that crux. And this was where we saw Yoshiyuki really start to fight on these slopers. So far, he's got the quick draw by his right. Look at that right elbow go up.
Makes that clip. Super tentative position.
And he's got to do a big move with the left hand. Creeps it up, snatches and falls.
Not sure, but you know, if in your mind it helps you, then that's just as important.
Absolutely, and he's one of the few who's continuing to wear those patches. You can see them there. There's a little bit of metal inside them, and it's, as you said, sort of meant to help. I think it's something to do with muscle blood flow or something like that. I wasn't explained it. but it's not 100% science. But as you said, if it makes you feel in the right frame of mind, it's good.
I mean, and it's all about those like small little gains, really. Every athlete who comes to these events is in peak form or as close to it as they can get. And so whatever kind of small advantage you can give yourself on the wall is what could make the difference.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, Satone Yoshida cuts loose, flies above the crowd there. It's cool to see. Yeah, picked out by the spotlight. By the time we finish tonight, it will be in darkness. Quite a late final starting time here. We began at 8:25, now coming up to 10 to 9, and a big jump. Floated over to the left, but popped a foot there when he did the swap.
Didn't stop for the rest like the other athletes have, but maybe because he's not quite tall enough to stand on that volume in the same way that they were.
Yeah, it's a good point. He is 168 centimeters. We've got Shion Omata 162, so no, maybe he had the height. Maybe just simply a case of not being pumped and just thinking, well, you know, I'm not going to stop down low.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not wanting to like use up too much unnecessary time.
But it's so hard. I don't think I could ever judge that moment where you rest, especially when you get a good hold down low.
Yeah, it's quite easy to rest too much. It's also quite easy to just simply not see a rest or not quite feel it. You maybe don't get the exact body position, so you decide to keep moving. Sometimes it's also really easy to just keep moving before you kind of realize that you have, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm flowing now, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, that was the rest disappearing behind me. Well, he is climbing pretty quick here. Up to the head wall, almost on the head wall. That's the waiting area for the athletes. That's the bottom left of the stage, underneath the speed wall. And he's got toes and heels engaged, and then brings the left foot up to the sloper, makes the clip, and now he faces this cruxy sequence.
Trying to score a little rest here, maybe to make up for the one that he didn't see earlier. Usually the head wall is pretty relentless, so this might be his last opportunity to get something back.
Yeah, I think it is, really. And you can see him shaking out. Yeah, this is where the setters said there was a rest, but we saw Yoshiyuki rest kind of one volume down from that. It's not the best rest, a bit awkward. You still have to keep some body tension.
Yeah, nice big feet though, so you can, if you find the right position, you can put quite a lot of weight through the lower body. Goes through this section really fast, makes it look super smooth.
Yeah, ninja kicked his way over to the right. Very cool, and then popping out to these volumes. And now, as we know, this is the business end of the route now. Slopers all the way up until, well, the very last move, which is a dyno.
Looking strong and precise so far. Starting to fight a little bit.
Yeah, it seems when they do that move out to the crimp, everything starts to unwind for the athletes here. He's got the low clip in, though, one above his head to come. Looks out left to where there's a foot, gets it, and yeah, now starting to snatch at the holds a little more. Looks, matches, gets the left sloper in.
Good, in control.
Can he make this clip, though? He's got the big heel. He looked at the draw then, thought about it.
Yeah, I think he's picked a good spot for it.
Oh, here we go. It's
looking super fresh.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Some of these athletes are just able to look pumped and then absolutely get it back in no time at all.
Well, if he manages to find something here, it'll be pretty special. Oh, and he slides off. Fingers just slipping down that hold. Expected for that Japanese team.
No, absolutely not. The standard of climbing there is just so high, and I think the number of places they can take in finals and semi-finals is more limited by the number of people they can have in the competition rather than the depth of the field of that country. It's like really, really next level what some of their athletes can do, I think.
It absolutely is, and we've got, well, 7 of them in this final, so that's quite clear. All right, Haruki is climbing through the bottom section, nice and cruisy at the moment. And you can hear, if you're listening carefully, we've got microphones on the wall, behind the wall, I think, and you can hear every clip and a kick on the wall. There, you can hear it.
Such a cool little addition that I've really enjoyed being able to hear the athletes breathing and like really putting in the effort. Hearing that like really satisfying slap that you get when you're live in the venue, like really brings you into the space.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's a good addition, so enjoy that if you're listening at home. And this is the last World Cup for a while. We've got a 2-week break before the next one. Big jump over to the left, but makes it look easy as he swings the feet back in. Yeah, 2-week break, and then World Champs beginning of August. That's to come.
Big, big, big event for a lot of people. You know, a lot of competitors, very few Olympic spots up for grabs. World Championships is always like a high priority for a lot of nations. Holds a lot of weight within the climbing world.
I cannot wait for that. Haruki there got the sort of intermediate sloper on the volume before bumping into the jib.
Again, not resting, opting for just that sort of continuous flow method. We definitely, some athletes are a bit more stop-start with their climbing, and then others just like that, almost like that sort of Kim Jae-in style of just move, chalk, intermittently resting throughout the route, but never really stopping.
Yes, lots of micro shakes on the way.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a record, by the way, for the most men of a single nation in the final. The Japanese had previously held it in Vila in 2022 with 4, so 7 going way past that.
And guaranteed 2 places on the podium. Yeah. Like guaranteed medals. That is really unbelievable.
I know you run out of words when you're talking about them sometimes. It's just
amazing, incredible. Like, yeah, you just start to you're like, I don't have the vocabulary for this anymore.
I'm just going to go, they're very good.
Yeah, very, very good at climbing. Hold on well.
That's why they pass the big bucks, you see.
They don't let go, and that's how they get so high.
Well, he's trying hard not to let go now, but having to fight on that undercling. It looks big on TV, but it's an awkward angle.
Different beta there.
Yeah, the setters told me that you could use both of them theoretically. It doesn't really matter too much in terms of the route.
Yeah, he's got like a little heel-toe cam against the bolt blocker as well, which is allowed. The blockers are like super slippery, but I think you can get like a nice little bit of friction in there, and that takes a lot of weight off of your arms as well.
Yeah, smart climbing from him, and he's onto the head wall now. So here we go, resting on the crux. This is a shouldery unwind. Very different from Satone's skip across that. Haruki, look, he's enjoying himself out there.
Yeah, looking pretty fresh, but we've seen so far, like, this is where the route really starts to kick in. The fatigue's going to build.
Yeah, this next quick draw, then that crimp to the left of it seems to be the stopping point for a lot of athletes in terms of burnout. Let's find out what happens here. Haruki has the match. He's almost jamming one of those fingers underneath.
I think he's trying to get a little back here and maybe clawing for a rest that isn't there, which can use a lot of energy, and he's off.
Yeah, you saw that. Take a chance, look at our leaderboard. So Satone Yoshida leading the way, 49 plus. Yoshiyuki Ogata after that, 49, not given the plus. Shion Omata, Haruki Uemura after that with 37 plus. So yeah, good separation, almost 10 points of difference between 4th and 1st.
Such a cool climber to watch. He has such a crazy style. I think I was sitting with some other climbers, and they say even when the way he shakes out, they said it was like mesmerizing. Yeah, it's just like so focused, so strong. Yeah, really cool climber to watch.
Let's see what he can do with this route. He's certainly one who battles through tricky sequences. He's going to need all of that high points so far.
Yeah, he has a very pure sort of lead climbing style, and I think that should likely suit this route. He's coming out of injury, so hopefully that's not playing on his mind too much.
Yeah, that left ankle heavily taped. That was the injury he received. Just made it back in time for the beginning of the lead season.
Yeah, I think he was quite pleasantly surprised as well with his performance straight off the bat. I think he thought it might take some more time to get into the flow, but yeah, straight back into it. No problems with the jump, super cruisy. Getting a little back before he moves into the steeper section of the wall. Yeah,
and he often puts in, like this, a heel hook, and I always look at the ankle. I haven't seen any pain from him anyway.
He's definitely got some strapping on it. I know from my own experience, like ankles really they're the kinds of injuries that just stick around for way too long. And they'll flare up one day and be fine the next. So hopefully it's not giving him too much trouble, but yeah, there's definitely a little bit of bandaging going on in that one.
Yeah, he'll try to put it out of his mind because he's got to be using it, as you can see. Lots of tension through that foot as he gets a toe in a bit of a unique method, this. and lost the toe for a sec. I thought he might come down then, but he made the move to slide the toe out and cause a bit of a swing.
Yeah, looking not quite so secure compared to what we've seen so far. But, you know, we had a really big day of climbing yesterday, so depending on, you know, how the qualies went, moving into the semis, sort of maybe the gap you had between rounds, it can be a really brutal schedule to then back up the next day as well.
It's also Taisei Homma, and he always looks like he's about to fall off, so it's hard to tell.
Very true.
Yeah, he's got this really interesting style, as you can see, different ways through moves.
Really, like, mincing each hold, like, making sure everything is just right before he moves on.
I think there is a jib, you know. I can just see it there on the left. There we go. So it's got enough chalk on so it's visible.
There you go.
And there you can see he's putting his heel on it.
So 2 jibs on the bottom one, but then nothing on the top hold. Coming in with that left hand to the lower crimp as well in this one, so maybe they viewed the route together.
Yeah, it could be. It's very similar, isn't it? All right, side pull to come. He gets a knee scrub in there. Just enough for a shakeout on the left. And another possible rest here, if he can see it, off that shallow right hand.
Tight little toe hook.
He's comfortable on those toe hooks.
Yeah. I think he's pretty comfy on his feet, for sure. Yeah. And yeah, looking quite comfortable considering that for his height, this is quite like a tight little box to fit into. But he's making it work for sure.
All right, here we go. He's looking focused as he crosses the hands through. Unwinds to the next jib. And a little pop over to the right. And right, this is it. So I feel like this is where the route starts on that line there.
Yeah, really starting to kick in, and it's going to be a matter of, how efficiently he's able to make it through, how well he's able to read these unique little dual text holds. But so far, few issues, not using that blue hold outright just yet.
Yeah, ignoring that as he makes that move to the crimp. Looks straightforward. Clip in, but we're nearing the point now where a lot of athletes go, so watch him. Last blue slopey pocket coming up for the left hand.
He's just really calm while he's climbing. Nothing looks rushed. Like, he doesn't look like he's on a World Cup final. It's just going through the motions almost. Even as he's looking tired and fatigued, he's just like really calm the whole way through.
It's true, his elbows and his face don't really line up.
No.
Right, well, those elbows go way back as he tries to bring a left foot up, shakes out the left hand desperately. And he wants something. He was looking for maybe a knee or a better position to rest in.
Going to get that fit up nice and tight, coming into a bit more of a comfortable position.
Right hand on the sloper, matches it. And those black balls are beckoning.
Getting that clip in early is really smart. Means that he can just sort of power through, hopefully to the high point if he's still feeling good. Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about it as he's moving forward.
Right, here we go. One move up to the ball, gets the right hand, cuts loose for a sec. Left heel in and matches the sloper. He's aiming for 49 plus. He's on 49 now, so he's close, but now he stops, hesitates, and he slides off that right hand too.
A standout performance. He was quite consistently like in finals and close to finals, and it dipped out a little bit, but yeah, this weekend he's been on fire.
Yeah, he really is having a comp of a lifetime here. Certainly the underdog on paper. Last finals 2019, so we'll have to see. Aiming for 49 plus. That was Taisei Homma's new high point. Same as Yoshida, but due to count back, that's why the position is decided like that. All right, Hannes. This is the move that everyone seems to have done slightly differently. He goes for that stretch, palming down with the left hand, and then a catch with the left palm.
Yeah, Hannes is quite tall. He's maybe the tallest athlete in this final. So yeah, for him, he's kind of afforded the capacity to be able to make that move a little bit more static and controlled, which kind of looked a little bit more tenuous actually than what the other athletes had done, so not necessarily an advantage.
Yeah, he is the tallest by a couple of centimeters, so you're right.
No problems with the jump as well. able to keep his feet down low and get a little back on this hold now before he moves on.
Just wonder if he might have a bit of magic in him this weekend and can find something. He's looking for this knee, wraps himself around the volume.
He is a little bit of another one of those sort of classic lead climbers as well. And we tend to love the Briancon venue, love the wall. The style of the routes here the whole way through the comp have been really endurance-y and resistance-y, and I think that's his bread and butter, really.
I don't understand anyone who could enjoy being pumped, but I will believe you.
We're a rare breed.
That's one way of describing
Lead specialists.
Yeah. Right, Hannes cuts loose, then gets the heel back onto the wall as he goes up towards these pinches. Not as good as they look, remember, especially this big one coming up. And he's got a clip to make off it as well. Does it with a high heel. Good flexibility for a tall man as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's like a very well-trained, well-rounded athlete, I think. And super strong. The sort of boulder moves that he can pull are really exceptional. Having a little trouble so far with this sequence, figuring out his feet.
Yeah, he tried to wrap those feet around.
But still flowing through.
He's looking good. He'll look forward to the rest that's coming up, I think. He's trying to find something. He hasn't got that jib in yet. He does it without. But looking very pumped here. He's got a low draw he's got to get in as well. Look at those feet.
It's going to be really tricky to make this clip from here, I think.
Just look at that left hand. How that's still on, I don't know. Trying to get something back.
Really mincing through, start to hear a little scream coming through on the microphones.
Yeah, you know when he's getting to the end because he starts shouting.
Get a little stem, quick shake and straight through.
Well, this could be it for Hannes. He's fighting hard and he makes it. Every move is a scream though for him. High right foot, trying to shake out, gets the left hand up. And now a massive drop knee to fit into that space.
Gets that left foot up, weight right over his feet. Still hanging on, still going, but he's going to have another little battle, I think, to get this clip in.
I mean, how he's still on, I don't know. He's ignoring that draw. He's going for points now.
And
Pops the thumb.
Exceptional fight. Young man's game.
Thank goodness.
I know. I'm not exactly one of the young ones anymore. I still have some really big goals. And I'm like, yeah, no, look at him go. Like 30, 32, older, 36.
Giant
like,
Kim.
Yeah, absolutely.
34 last weekend.
Oh, for sure. That was just like one of my highlights as a spectator was seeing her back in finals and back on the top step. Like, who would have thought, you know?
Yeah, it was crazy. Do go watch that Chamonix comp if you haven't already. Last weekend, we're moving through a lot of comps at the moment. Masahiro gets the high right foot, using that press method, but a bit of a pop needed and then a palm down usually to steady this swing, and there it is. And he's stood up on the volume, looks at the jump, just takes a moment to chalk up. He'll go for the launch, sets himself, kicks the left leg, easy in.
Coming over with the left hand on this one instead of the right, looking for that knee bar. But he, yeah, gets it in, got a nice little knee scum, not too much weight in his hands.
Will that help his arms, even just that slight motion, that little press?
Yeah, I think it can take a lot of, if you manage to do it successfully, it can take a lot of weight, even just like a little bit of a scum on the wall. But like I said before, like nothing takes as much energy as like looking for a rest or a knee bar that isn't there. So it's quite easy to mess around for a little bit too long and waste a ton of juice on something that was not necessary.
Yeah, and we saw him dropping back down to shake out in a different position. He's into the orange volumes now. No chance really to stop before you get to the head wall.
Ideally, you're always making that forward progress. Any backwards movement is usually as the result of some kind of error. So you want to try to minimize that.
Yeah, and he's wrapped his foot, and yeah, there we go, has to adjust because of the rope. Perhaps a bit careless, maybe could have flicked that before, saved himself a movement. Yeah,
like we said before, it's definitely one of those routes where it's less about the individual movements and more about the sort of subsequential flow of
the sum total of it all.
Yeah, exactly, minimizing the mistakes, but we've also seen, you know, some athletes will look absolutely terrible 1 minute and then bring it all back the next. Yeah, really mincing that crimp. Elbow's already coming up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he's 100% comfortable yet. He had that moment where he down climbed to find a better resting position. And although he's got through this, to me it looks like he's very tense on the wall.
For sure, for sure. But I think if he can, we've seen with the other athletes looking tense through this section, and they've been able to get a little bit back after this. But yeah, that's elbows are really high, really starting to fight.
But
coming into the
clever
head wall.
right toe he's got in.
Yeah, using everything to his advantage.
Hannes looking up. Right, now this is where he could find a moment, but he's not. And now he rests. I feel like this is the first time he's really stopped, apart from that chalk up on the jump. And a big unwind.
Yeah, the more you need to rest, the less you're going to be able to as well, you know?
Yeah, I think that just the size of the feet here save a few athletes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, despite the fight, he's into the head wall and now gets a chance on these slopers. 7th at the moment, 35th. And he's got a 49 plus.
Moving back down again, trying to get a little bit more chalk through this quite complex section.
It's hard to know if it's a lock, if it's an undercling, if it's a crimp.
Yeah, it's like you never really know from the ground if that top hold's going to be just a blocker or it's going to be useful in the sequence.
All right, he's into the slopers though. Yeah, because there's a lot of chalk on it. I think it's more chalk for this move. He's trying to shake that right hand up. Bumps into the crimp.
Elbow high.
This could be the moment. He's setting for a jump and he does fall. He needs to let me know. I'd sort of forgotten what day it was, so I didn't realise the French bank holiday it was today.
Oh, yes. I was reminded at 5 a.m. this morning, music playing outside my window, so that was fun.
Do they not know who you are? Unbelievable.
No, I know, right? How rude.
I'll send someone next time. We'll be all right. All right, Sorato gets going. He is surely one to watch for the feet, this man, as we go into the World Champs. I think at the moment, if I was to pick my possible Olympic qualifying places from the World Champs, I'd have to say him and Toby are right up there.
Yeah, they're definitely in with a good shot for sure. Like, just showing the consistent performances across both disciplines for the lead boulder combined is so important. Yeah, so I would say both of them are in with that really good shot, and probably all eyes on Byrne trying to secure one of the early positions, not having to go through the later, more drawn-out sort of qualification processes as well.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you might be in a situation where you leave it so last minute. It's a couple of weeks before the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're qualifying through the OKS next year, it's a really tight game for sure, and stressful because it's going to have to be I think it's a sum of the whole series. So yeah, you won't know until quite close to game day.
Yeah, it's going to be a full-on year next year in 24 as we build towards Paris. And Sorato Anraku here gets the toe in, jumps, cuts loose. And he looked so comfortable during yesterday's semi-finals. Barely looked like he was breathing on the route.
Yeah, super calm, collected, mature climber, especially given he's not very old at all.
No, 16, unless he's had a birthday, which I don't think he has. Yeah, 16 still. Hasn't won on lead yet. 3rd in Chamonix, 6th in Vila, 4th in Innsbruck, so up in the top 10 every time.
Yeah, for sure. Well and truly capable of it. So yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see. Looking good so far. He hasn't made too many mistakes, hasn't really looked uncertain just yet.
No, and he finds that blue jib with the left, comes into the undercling. Shaking out their left. You can see all the athletes gathered on the black diamond chairs down at the bottom, where the light's coming from the backstage. That's where they are. Sorato, meanwhile, is at the head wall break point. From 40 degrees to 30 degrees, it will still feel very overhanging on his arms.
Looking chill, looking relaxed. He'd likely know that. Oh yeah, nice little knee scum there as well. That's really cool. That'll be, yeah, I think that'll be saving a lot of juice. Also, that sort of like little frog position he's got on that lower volume as well is allowing him to put a lot of weight through both feet.
Yeah, he looks comfortable. That's what he's holding on to though. Bad slippers, but look how casual he is. He's got his leg pressed right against it.
Yeah, often in World Cups I find the best holds are usually where you find the worst rests. It's often got to do with the body position rather than just the quality of the holds themselves. Usually if you've got a jug or something, it's going to be like this really ugly move. But yeah, he's able to put his weight through these big footholds on some less than good holds and get more back than he might from shaking out one arm on a jug, you know?
Yeah, I do, and it's good timing from him. He rested enough and then just launched through that sequence. Setters are expecting to lose a couple there, and everyone threw it cleanly.
Yeah, I guess it just speaks to the caliber of the climbers in the final. Even though these sort of big names might be missing, it's still like, for the root setters, they're still having to really bring their A game to split the field.
Yeah, no change from them. There's so many. I think it was 16 men or it was 16 women, but there were 16 men or 18 women, I think, who had been in finals from the semi-final round. So it was still experience.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Super high level of climbing.
Yeah. All right, well, we could be watching Sorato climb towards gold here. He's got to keep it together through this section, though. Moves up to 5th place with 43.
Looking so comfortable so far.
Yeah, no issues. Looks at the clock to check. He's got plenty of time. But you can see the slopers are coming. Makes the quick draw. Doesn't need to worry about that anymore. Oh, and for the first time we see him, wow, forget that, he just bumps up with the right hand.
Yeah, feet off, looking super casual, gets that heel up.
I honestly thought he looked a little tired for a sec.
And he takes the win.
That's it.
Incredible.
Well, that's his first lead gold.
Will we see a top, I guess?
I hope so. He's got to launch towards the women's route on the right. Here we go, big jump, latches.
Incredible.
Well, there we go, so he's got to click that draw though, gets it in finally. And that is our gold medalist here tonight. Sorato Anraku takes victory. And then Taisei Homma after that, and Satone Yoshida. Well, as expected, Sorato Anraku takes the win with a top, followed by Taisei Homma at 49 plus. Same score with Satone Yoshida with 49 plus. Countback deciding that. Yoshiyuki Ogata wasn't given the plus. He stays on 49 in 4th. Shion Omata and Masahiro Higuchi in 6th. Hannes Puman. And then Haruki Uemura makes up our last athlete, 8th place with 37 plus. Deep into the head wall once again.
Congratulations on your first ever World Cup victory with an incredible climb and topping the route. How are you feeling?
I'm happy to win both Boulder and Reed World Cup.
Yeah, amazing, absolutely. Congratulations again, and goodbye. See you later.
See you.